All right, you guys are tuned in to The Stand with Mike and Dottie. We're here in Ohio with Brushy Fork Outfitters, and Brian just got me in front of a nice 8-pointer in the Buckeye State. There you go. Okay, Poppy, here we go to Ohio. Check that out. Maxed out in the Chevy. We got the bad boy buggy we're hooking up. Ohio is the beginning of the Midwest, where they have these big bruiser bucks out there. And we can drive to Ohio, so it's a chance to go out to the Midwest. I went out with Poppy, you know, Dottie's father, and my mentor. Ready to get the biggest deer of your life? Yeah. 150, 160 class. How about it? We were really excited, you know, picking up my father-in-law, because we had the bad boy buggy in the back, and we're getting it all ready, because, you know, Dad, he's 80 now, so I'm thinking this bad boy buggy's going to work out great, because he could really use it. Yeah, and I don't need it. I love it too. We're getting ready to go to Ohio. Is it Newark, Ohio?
Yeah, Newark.
Newark, Ohio. Sounds like Newark, New Jersey, but it's Ohio. Yeah. Where the big bucks are.
Yeah.
And now Dottie didn't get a chance to go on this trip. Too many grandkids, too many responsibility, maybe, I don't know. But this was a trip just for the guys. We're going where the big ones are, the Midwest, going to Brushy Fork Outfitters with Joe and Joey, and we're all gonna get 140 or better class deer.
Yeah.
Sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay, let's do it. Joe and Joey. Now these two guys are two guys that we've been hunting with for probably 40 years, and over 40 years.
Yep.
And you even called Joe.
Joey was like a cousin growing up.
And his dad, you call him Uncle Joe.
Uncle Joe, yeah.
They're not related, but that's how close. Yeah.
They're close friends.
Right, we've been hunting together for a long time, and so we're all going together. All right, we'll see you in about 20 minutes.
Yeah, it looks like 19 miles, so we'll be there right when you guys get there probably.
All right, sounds good. See you then.
Okay, see you there, bye.
Bye. We met Joe and Joey on the way. They were all excited, going to hunt the big bucks. And hey, he's ready for the giants of Ohio.
The Midwest monsters. We're all ready, excited, ready to travel.
I'm ready.
With Brian and the boys?
Yeah, the Brushy Fork.
We're ready.
Are you ready for the Giants? All right.
Midwest Giants.
We got the bad boy buggy, no long treks for us.
Robert? Good to see you, man. Excited?
All right, Mike.
Bad boy buggy?
Hey.
All right, we're ready.
We're ready too.
You guys got the directions?
Yeah.
Got your GPS, we'll follow you, okay? Because you got the trailer, so you go your speed, all right? Oneida Eagle's gonna get it done. The old time bow, baby.
Still shooting fingers. Just pray for him. Pray for the deer. We're going to Brushy Fork Outfitters, and when you go on their Facebook, Brushy Fork Outfitters, beautiful, incredible pictures from the trail cams of some awesome.
Yeah, I've seen them. They're monster. A lot of them are monster bucks.
Monster bucks, yeah. Okay, there's Ken and Jackie. The cooks. We got to zoom in on them. Look at them working hard for us here at Brushy Fork. Yeah. And there's Joe. Look, he looks like he's hungry. I don't know. You hungry, Joe?
It's an appetite. Fresh air.
We're here, ready to have some dinner from Ken and Jackie at Brushy Fork Outfitters.
Looking good. Prime time, the farmer came through.
Yeah.
This thing, hopefully, I'm gonna leave some beans there. next couple days, they'll be coming out feeding. So
Yeah.
you know,
He's got them all soft for
get
him.
them ready. So hopefully, better days ahead.
You would take us to morning areas first.
He's taking us out to where the Giants live. So here we are in the back seat. I'm right here. Joey's up there. The big head sticking up. And there's our guide Rick. He's going to show us where the Giants are. Remember the first day, we're all excited. We're in the car, and he's going to show us where we're hunting and show us the terrain, and we're all excited to see where these giant bucks are. And they took us out to our stands. They were nice stands. I was seeing deer. We were seeing some small deer. And the deer came in, and they seemed to look right up into my stand. And I was wondering if maybe they had this stand kind of pegged, that they knew where there was a hunter here.
Don't
you know?
you hate that?
Yeah, I mean, they looked too quick. I wasn't moving or anything, but they were looking right in my direction. I had one big guy come in, and he started to walk down the trail that came to my stand, and he looks right up at me. And I'm just looking, and I went, what made you look at me, you know? And that next morning, sure enough, I get a deer coming in. I drew on this deer, big beams coming around. And when I drew on him, he saw me draw, and he looks right at me. He's like, no kidding, 25 yards maybe. And he's looking right at me, and I can't move. But it's not a good angle. I have no angle to take the shot. And I'm holding that thing, and I must have held it for, you know, a minute or two. It felt like an hour or two. And I'm hoping that he'll just turn, and then I'll bleat and stop him broadside and take the shot. He stood there looking around, and then at one point, you know, I started getting a little weak, and I moved the bow a little bit, and he looked right up at me. He found me, and I'm going, I'm gonna have to take this shot, you know. So when I shot, he ducked, and that arrow literally bounced off his back, just bounced right off his back, and he took off. I'm going, oh man, I blew my opportunity, right? The one I saw over here twice now, he's a sneaker. He's sneaky. Really? Yeah, and I don't know if he's bedding right over here or what, but I was in this stand over here. And he walked up right before dark. This was in the evening. He walked up right here. No, not here. It was about 70 yards away, I think. He walked up, and he was looking away. And I stood up and got my binoculars up. And when I put my binoculars, he's looking right at me. And I really felt like these deer had me pegged in this one stand I was hunting, where I was seeing most of the activity. So I went to Brian and I said, hey Brian, would it be possible if we moved a stand and put it in a little different area, you know, we could look around?
I think the next 2 days we're gonna have a south wind, aren't we?
Yeah, probably.
So we'll get a good wind.
Where's the south from right where we are now?
Right that way.
South is going this way. That's not bad for morning or evening.
I mean, you guys need to stay right in.
Oh, we plan. And I think that bigger one is savvy. He just seems to be real savvy. And you know, that 8-pointer chasing the buck, he chased right by me.
That's
almost,
a big
you know.
buck, period. I mean,
Yeah.
Who knows what that deer has encountered last year, for instance?
Yeah.
They're real quiet. And so,
You don't want to be moving too soon. You know, you got to give them a chance.
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that's good. Pick out
I
a
mean,
tree.
if you guys want to make some moves, we'll make some moves.
We looked around, we figured out the best spot, and he put that stand in record time. That guy he had
great.
going up the tree for him, he put that thing in so quick. This is the last morning now,
Right.
you know.
A lot of times it comes down to the last morning.
Oh, it
too.
does, but I already had 2 opportunities, and I'm up there thinking, you know,
You're done.
you might as well get up here, but I wasn't expecting a whole lot. But anyway, I get up there, and sure enough, another buck comes out. I mean, took this real wide circle, you know, to try to find out where that grunt came from, try to wind, you know. And then he gets on the logging road, and he starts going away. So I grabbed the grunt, and I grunted him again, and sure enough, he turns around, and he starts coming down this trail that went right to the scrape. He comes down, and he's coming down beautiful. I'm going to get him right, you know,
Right where you
it's going to
want
be
him.
like 30-yard shot
Cool.
right there. I draw, and no kidding, there is a tree. I mean, it had to be no bigger than 10 inches in diameter. And it's between me and the buck. That tree perfectly covered the vitals. There was no shot. He's right there. I'm at full draw. I'm going, I can't believe this. What is going on? He's not moving. He's just standing there. I'm going, come on. I start to let it down. And then he turns away, and now he's facing away from me, and he starts to walk down the hill. And there's no shot, and I'm getting all frustrated. Last morning I went, "Meh," real loud, and and so he turned back to see this, and it gave me a little target,
window,
a little
yeah.
opening there. And I let it fly. I wasn't real confident in the shot. It was a tough angle, but you know, I called you know, Brian, and we gave it all day.
I was afraid you wouldn't go up that hill if he's hurt.
He's spraying pretty good. You could turn, that's what we gotta look for.
You can turn and go that way. There's some here. So we're following the trail along the creek. The guys thought maybe he crossed the creek, and I just couldn't see him jumping down that cliff.
You might have laid down there.
He might still be alive. Hold on a minute. That's pretty fresh. After about 5 minutes, I see blood. He never crossed that creek, so I'm walking down the creek, and then he started going uphill, which scared me a little bit.
One of you back there, keep an eye out for a tail or something.
Let's hope this burns him out. He's going uphill. This is a sign of strength.
There's a bunch of vultures flying up right here.
Vultures.
Why don't you swing around, Cody? Swing around this way and see if you see him. He's there?
Then all of a sudden we see some buzzards. You know, they fly up, and that might be it. Look at those guys. He's been dead a while, man. He's stiff. Well, if I can move him around. 8:05 this morning. Look, he's the same guy I shot yesterday. See his haircut? There, right there.
No kidding.
Look at that. He came back to the same spot. He loves the grunt. This boy loves, he's a social animal. Can you get that good in there?
Congratulations, buddy.
Yeah, he's a decent. I mean, nothing like yours. I wish I wouldn't have seen yours now. Not as very proud of the shot, but quartering so hard, you only have to be off a little bit and you're right there in the butt. Oh, that's great. Yeah, he came down, loved the call, he loved the grunt call. Had to grunt him twice. He tried to get me downwind. And he gave me the shot. He almost got away with that, using that tree as a block. That buck came back and gave me another shot.
Wow.
And
that's a rare.
He was a social buck. He couldn't stand to stay away from that grunt, and that was his demise. But yeah, Brian, you know, the guide, he called him my redemption buck because, you know, he gave me another shot at him. And well, here we are. We're at the end of our hunt. We got a nice buck here in the Buckeye State, and had some tough hunting. Tough weather. We're at the first week in November, and the rut was going on, but it was hot. It was almost 80 degrees a couple of days, and just had some real tough times. But the bucks were cooperating a little bit, and we got it done. Even though the temperature was against us, a lot of things were against us here in Ohio, the Lord really shined down on us and blessed us with this beautiful 8-point buck, and we just love it.
Congrats in Ohio, brother. The beast is dead, buddy.
The beast. you heard my guide there at Brushy Fork. At the end of the video, he said, "This is your redemption buck." And what does that mean, redemption buck? Well, basically that means that this buck gave me a do-over. It's basically a second chance to get it right. And really, that's what Jesus did for us. You know, God told us in the very beginning that if we sin, we would surely die. And we still chose to sin. And he didn't like that. He didn't want that. He loves us. He created us to have fellowship with him. And that's where Jesus comes in. God sent his only son, Jesus. Jesus said, "I'm going to go and I'm going to become one of them." Isn't that incredible when you think about that? The Almighty God took on flesh and became a human being. And he did that so that he could live the life right, that he could live it without sin, so that he could go to the cross and he could pay for our sins so that we don't have to, because the penalty for sin is death. God made that very clear. Separation from him, no fellowship with God the Father. And God did not want that, so he sent his son to take care of that. And that's what Jesus did. He became our Redeemer. See, he redeemed us back to God. He gave us a do-over. He's done it all. He paid the price. He suffered and died and rose again at Calvary. And he rose again because he wasn't just a man, he was also God. And the neat thing about it, he rose as a human being. Isn't that interesting? He'll always be human. He's God, and he'll always be God, but he's human too. He became one of us. And he's back with the Father, Son, and the Spirit. And so he invites all of humanity in to the fellowship of the Father, the Son, and the Spirit, that we can have that. So what do we have to do? Basically, we have to simply put our faith and trust in what he did at Calvary. He paid the price. He is our Redeemer, and he gave us a do-over. He gave us fellowship with the Father, Son, and the Spirit. I've received my do-over. Did you?